hear the spell of this immortal, send this creature through the portal.
Top 10 Radical and Insane SWAT Kats Villains Episodes. SWAT Kats. The Radical Squadron is evidently one of the most memorable shows of the 90s. The show came as a breath of fresh air because it presented two jolly cats that doubled as badass vigilantes in the moonlight and flew an equally badass jet and helped catch criminals.
This one's for you, Razor.
The show packed new and novel weapons and missiles, and the SWAT Kats never shied away from flying their jet, which gave the kids a great time watching the show. Even today, watching the show or hearing about it leads us down the memory lane filled with nostalgia. But it is an undeniable truth that without the unique villains they faced, SWAT Kats wouldn't have been what they are. In this video, we will reintroduce you to some of the most badass and crazy villains of SWAT Kats. So, without further ado, let's get the show started.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
The Dark Ages back, and when I find my Tome of Time, I will arrange just that.
Number 1. The Past Master. Two grave robbers were searching for treasure or anything antique. However, all that they managed to find was a huge case with an 800-year-old sorcerer imprisoned in it. They unknowingly opened the case to release the evil sorcerer named the Past Master. After his release, he immediately attacked the grave robbers by summoning a couple of skeletons.
I have more important work for you. Start digging and find my book of spells.
He then went on to find his book of spells called Tome of Time from the Madkat City Museum of History. The undead sorcerer wished to take the urban city back to the Dark Ages, a time period that he originally belonged to. At the museum, he demonstrates his powers, but after finding his book, he becomes more formidable than ever.
Of time. 800 years is far too long to be separated from such power.
The Past Master summons several dinosaurs by opening a time vortex to serve as his henchmen and even sends the SWAT Kats to the Jurassic period through a time vortex. Can the SWAT Kats face and destroy this powerful time-bending villain before time runs out? Pun intended. The Past Master appeared in the first episode titled The Past Master Always Rings Twice. He was an undead sorcerer who belonged to the Dark Ages, but returned to contemporary times because of the foolishness of two grave robbers. With the help of his magical watch and spell book named Tome of Time, he could not only travel through time, but also summon mythical, ancient, and extinct creatures.
It's noon, my Dark Age city will return, and your Metallikat city will be no more.
All that he really wanted was to be back home, a time where anarchy spanned its wings all over the cat kind. He later appeared in episodes like Bride of the Past Master and The Deadly Pyramid. In the episode A Bright and Shiny Future, he, along with Metallikats, created a future where machines ruled over catkind. This was invariably inspired by Terminator. The Past Master had super cat strength. He once destroyed lampposts and several robots with his bare hands. Of course, sorcery was his go-to power. Among other strengths, he could reanimate the dead, like the saber-toothed tiger. The Past Master was also adept in necromancy, which was noticed when he summoned two skeletons to look for his Tome of Time. He mostly used his pocket watch, which granted him many of these powers.
Now, Callista, shall we get married in the present or the past? Wait!
Interestingly enough, all the SWAT Kats episode began with an action sequence of this very episode. However, the first aired episode had a different beginning with Razor's narration of a brief introduction of the SWAT Kats.
I will have Catalyst 99 and the power to destroy Metallikat City.
Number 2. Morbulus and Dr. Viper. The evil pilot Morbulus appeared in the first season's second episode titled The Giant Bacteria. He was trying to destroy Metallikat City's oil refineries, but the SWAT Kats succeeded in catching him and destroying his aircraft. Instead of handing him directly to the enforcers, they dropped him in the water for the enforcers to catch him themselves. This proved to be one of their greatest mistakes because he managed to flee from there and met Dr. Viper, who transformed him into the titular monster that would go on to wreak havoc on the city.
Oh, that you've had your breakfast. It's time to begin our commute into Metallikat City.
Morbulus literally had eyes in the back of his head, which empowered him to be a daunting opponent. It was extremely difficult to take him by surprise, courtesy of his 360-degree field of view. After his escape from the possible clutches of the Enforcers, he went to Dr. Viper, who wanted him to steal the Catalyst 99 so that he could destroy the city. To achieve this, Dr. Viper transformed Morbulus into a living test tube of sorts for his new bacteria strain. He mutated into a giant monster that resembled a bacterial blob. Every time the giant bacteria took a hit, it split into two, much like an amoeba, with each newly created giant bacteria having one eye. While Morbulus was a man of brute force and brawn with average intelligence, Dr. Purvis, on the other hand, was an intelligent man who used to work at the Metallikat biomechanical labs. He was an expert in biology, robotics, and genetics. He and Dr. Enzyme had developed a regenerative formula, but the generous Dr. Zyme wanted to donate the formula, while Dr. Viper had other plans.
And what are you doing with my notes?
I'm taking the formula, Zyme. It's gonna make me rich.
He tried to steal the formula from the facility, but got exposed to the chemicals, due to which he mutated into a creature that looked like a mix of an iguana, a snake, and a cat. After his mutation, his sole agenda in life became to transform the cat kind into mutants like himself.
Used to be Dr. Purvis, but now you can call me Dr. Viper.
He is one of the deadliest and most formidable enemies of the SWAT Kats and has appeared in several episodes. He and the creatures that he created have killed several people and animals. For instance, Morbulus ate a cow and a farmer for breakfast right after his transformation into the giant bacteria. Dr. Viper last appeared in the episode Mutation City. His other notable creations are killer wasps, giant mosquitoes, and plantimals like flyers, rovers, behemoths.
Welcome aboard the Doomsday Express, Commander. Enjoy the ride.
Number 3. Dark Kat. In the third episode, titled The Wrath of Dark Kat, the evil villain and one of the greatest enemies of the SWAT Kats strikes Metallikat City and steals nuclear material to create his own nuclear bomb and destroy Metallikat City. His intent was to build a new city on its ashes where
lawlessness is the law of the land. Dark Kat City.
He does succeed in his mission, all thanks to his minions and the powerful jet. In a plan which Feral admitted was desperate and stupid, he infiltrated Dark Kat's ship, only to be abducted by Dark Kat. However, the SWAT Kats weren't far behind and soon followed Dark Kat into his hideout. This episode is interesting because it tells the story of how T-Bone and Razor became SWAT Kats. Long ago, the two of them used to work under Feral and were in hot pursuit of the Dark Kat. They would have sunk their teeth into Dark Kat's menace, but Feral interfered and made their jet crash into the Enforcer building, damaging it. They were kicked out of the force and sent to work in a scrapyard, where they found enough parts to build their own jet and continue their fight against menaces like Dark Kat.
What are we waiting for, buddy? Time to take care of Dark Kat.
Dark Kat is an extremely potent and wanted mastermind whose prime intent was to annihilate Metallikat City and create a new anarchical town named Dark Kat City. He's extremely intelligent, which makes him calculative enough to figure out which moves his opponents or the SWAT Kats would make next, and he does this with high accuracy. The recurring theme in the series was biased against Dark Kat, because all of his hideouts were almost always rigged with explosives. Chance and Jake became SWAT Kats because of one of his attacks on the Enforcer headquarters. Dark Kat uses his minions called creeplings, who are small pink creatures that act as his henchmen. Despite being rather dim-witted and clearly not as strong as their master, their loyalty to Dark Kat is unyielding and eternal. They are incessantly vicious and subdue their opponents by merely outnumbering them. Dark Kat is essentially a calculative schemer who's intimidating both mentally and physically. His greatest allies, however, are not his minions but his creativity and his ability to devise a plethora of elaborate plans and conspiracies.
Viper, wait! Our little altercation has given me an idea. Yes, just think of it, Viper. An invincible alliance of evil.
He's known to forge alliances with several of his fellow evildoers like Dr. Viper and the Metallikats.
Nothing can stop Hard Drive when he's wearing his surge coat.
Before Hard Drive. Hard Drive attacked Megakat City and went straight to Megakat City Defense Center, where he stole the defense secrets of Megakat City and all other confidential data from the computers, with the intent of extracting ransom from the government. He succeeded in stealing whatever he wanted, but the SWAT Kats followed his high-voltage trail and managed to capture him in an insulated missile. It's interesting how they just happen to have an insulated missile. Nevertheless, enforcers take custody of Hard Drive and take him to their headquarters for questioning.
Blast those SWAT Kats and their insulated missile!
However, Dark Cat's creeplings break him out of the prison holding cell and take him to Dark Cat, who seeks his help for not just killing the SWAT Kats, but to also destroy their public image.
Help me steal the Turbo Cats, and then I will hold Megakat City in the palm of my hand.
With the help of Hard Drive, Dark Cat managed to get his hands on the SWAT Kats and left them to die. Meanwhile, Hard Drive sold the SWAT Kat jet Turbo Cat, used it to destroy several buildings, and asked for a huge ransom. However, the SWAT Kats managed to break free and went after the two evildoers.
Beloved SWAT Kats have destroyed 2 skyscrapers. Make that 4 skyscrapers.
Hard Drive was clearly based on the Marvel villain Electro. After his first appearance in the 7th episode titled Night of the Dark Cat, he made his subsequent appearances in Metal Urgency and SWAT Kats Unplugged. In the former episode, he took over the new and advanced tank of the Enforcers called Behemoth.
What do we have here? Thanks, Doc. This should come in mighty handy.
In SWAT Kats Unplugged, he stole an anti-weapon scrambler and used it to disable all of the Enforcer helicopters. Furthermore, he disabled the weapon systems of Turbo Cat. As a cat, Hard Drive is extremely irrational and overconfident. However, he should not be discarded off as a dumb villain because of his hacking abilities and taste for information. With his Surge Coat, he can travel through electronic devices as well as wires. Hacking computers and creating power surges is nothing but child's play for him, and he loves doing it. Without this, however, he becomes a scared chicken and surrenders upon little intimidation.
Manx, my mortal enemy.
Number 5. The Red Lynx. The Red Lynx appeared in the 9th episode titled The Ghost Pilot. He was considered the best ever pilot in the history of Catkind and dominated the skies during Catkind's Mega War 2. He was also the evilest pilot and didn't hesitate to shoot down anyone who dared to stop him. But he himself was shot down by the Blue Manx, the great-grandfather of Mayor Manx of Megakat City. One day, an ex-admiral pulled out Red Lynx's plane from underwater and it was put on display at the City Museum. Later that same day, Red Lynx's ghost emerged from the dead to take revenge on his arch-enemy, Blue Manx.
How the Red Lynx came back to life is a mystery to me, Callie. It's positively supernatural.
However, the Blue Manx was long dead, and the obvious new target was his descendant, Mayor Manx, who held not even an iota of bravery that his great ancestor possessed. The flying skills of Red Lynx's ghost didn't fade away with time, or, well, even death. Even in his biplane, he managed to give the SWAT Kats a tough time, who had the advantage of technology by their side. Nevertheless, they accomplished to strike down the Red Lynx plane after taking some severe damage, but this victory was short-lived. Mayor Manx was running for re-election, and as a political gimmick, he was giving the Enforcers the best ever jet named after Blue Manx. Naturally, Red Lynx managed to possess this new and advanced jet and used it for hunting Mayor Manx. The SWAT Kats were in hot pursuit and learned that the only way to finally end the menace of Red Lynx was if a descendant of Blue Manx shot down Red Lynx. After much trouble and display of cowardice, Mayor Manx did manage to shoot down Red Lynx's plane, but not without help from SWAT Kats. Number 6. Metallikats. The Metallikats used to be a couple named Molly and Mac Monge, but they drowned while escaping the Alcatraz prison. Professor Hackle's robotic servants found their bodies, who transferred their minds into robotic bodies. After their transformation into robots, they became the Metallikats, even more powerful and sinister than they already were. They're essentially based on Superman's enemy named Metallo, the Terminator, and the infamous criminal couple Bonnie and Clyde.
Not just our voices that have changed, Fango.
We had a complete makeover.
In the episode A Bright and Shiny Future, the Past Master brings them back to life to forge an alliance with them in order to eliminate the SWAT Kats and to take control of Megakat City. However, they betrayed the Past Master and used his magical watch to further their own sinister plans.
See all you cat wimps by sunrise!
In the future, they successfully take over the city and enslave all of the organic cat kind. However, Professor Hackle, the Enforcers, and SWAT Kats together defeat the Metallikats and return everything back to the way it was. In the episode Metal Urgency, the Metallikats learn the identities of the SWAT Kats, but their bodies get destroyed in the fight. They elope by developing spider-like legs under their heads. They gain control over the two newly made Macrobots, the most powerful and largest assault robots in all of Megakat City. With the Macrobots, they wreak havoc on the city, but the SWAT Kats weren't far behind. Razor manages to get inside one of the Macrobots to take control and fight the other one.
I'm not going alone, you cons!
In another episode, Mac and Molly try to rob the Megakat City's bank but were defeated by the combined forces of SWAT Kats and the Enforcers. Molly got heavily damaged in the fight, but Mac managed to save her and flee in their hovercraft.
Go ahead, insult me. I won't even get mad.
Can I call you Bucket?
Mac then went to rob Dr. Lighter Greenbox so that his wife could be saved, but the device held technology that they didn't understand. It transformed into Zed and absorbed Mac. Molly then approached the SWAT Kats for help. The Metallikats are cunning criminal minds with augmented dexterity, resilience, and strength. They're invulnerable to low-caliber weaponry and have built-in gadgets and firearms in their metallic bodies.
It'll be my pleasure. Just let me get a set of wheels.
Number 7. Madkat. Madkat used to be a medieval-age jester, but was replaced by a rival. Later, he was imprisoned in a dungeon. He held the king, the queen, and the knight responsible for this.
I should have been the king of night.
During his imprisonment, he vowed to exact his revenge. Somehow, his spirit possessed a jack-in-box named Cat. The cat in the box landed up at an antique shop named Catsmas Curious. Meanwhile, a comedian named Lenny Ringtail broke out of the Mega Cat Asylum for the insane and catatonic. While on the run, he came across the antique shop and went in to save himself from the Enforcers. Interestingly, Ringtail shared an uncanny professional resemblance with Madkat. Ringtail was put into the Megakat Asylum for the insane and catatonic after he had a breakdown owing to a rival comedian named David Litterbin, who had replaced Ringtail as the host of Megakat Broadcast Company's late-night talk show.
It can't be. Here's Ringtail.
After he broke into the antique store, its owner confronted Ringtail. During their conversation, he revealed Madkat's history to Ringtail, who was fascinated by the resemblance in his story to that of Madkat's. He wanted to possess the cat in the box, but lost his mind after the owner confronted him and knocked the owner out. Following this, the cat in the box, or Madkat, started talking to Ringtail. The cat in the box offered Ringtail to fuse together so that they could exact their revenge on those who had apparently wronged them. Following this, Ringtail takes up the offer and becomes the super powerful Madkat.
I prefer Madkat, Commander, but you can call me anything. Just don't call me often.
Since the original king, queen, and knight were already dead, Madkat now wanted to capture their contemporary counterparts, i.e., the Mayor Manx, the Deputy Mayor Callie Briggs, and Commander Farrell. The SWAT Kats seemed especially incapable at the mercy of Madkat's powers, but these were no ordinary cats. Madkat may have been immortal had he not been destroyed by the SWAT Kats, which they achieved by destroying the bells on his fool's cap. Apart from this one weakness, he had none other. In fact, he seemed invulnerable to most offenses and proved to be a sink for incoming damage. He could shapeshift into anything that he could imagine, much like Green Lantern's ring.
Because my ball is...
He could also alter his size and go from Ant-Man to Giant Man in a jiffy, without the need for any external devices. Naturally, he had high elasticity and could elongate his body parts to great lengths. Furthermore, he could teleport and conjure razor-sharp playing cards that could slash through choppers, spiked ice, etc., etc. However, his motif remained that of toys.
Guess I misjudged you, Flight Commander. Go see if he lands on his feet.
Number 8. Turmoil. Turmoil was one of the fiercest female villains of SWAT Kats. She had a Russian accent and arrived at Megakat City with a grand plan. She had a huge aircraft called the Sky Lion, an overabundance of gadgets, and several female pilots that comprised her Amiga squadron. She was in possession of an extremely potent vertigo device to threaten the government with, saying that no one would ever be able to use the skies of Megakat City if she was not paid $2 million in gold.
For the paltry sum of $2 million in gold per week.
She used her vertigo beam to almost crash a commercial aircraft. The beam caused disorientation and dizziness in Kats. However, the SWAT Kats and the pilot of the plane managed to land the craft safely. This incident was enough to prove her point and give a demonstration of the things that she could do. Lieutenant Felina Farrell tried her best to arrest Turmoil, but she miserably failed at her cause. The SWAT Kats later tried to stop her from executing her plans, but Turmoil fell in love with T-Bone and abducted him. After his abduction, she offered him a place in her ranks as the second in command. Although he agreed to the plan, he was of course not going to let Turmoil have her way. It was simply a ruse to gain her trust so that he could plant bombs on Skyline.
You will pay for this treachery!
Turmoil, wait! I am on your side now. Let me prove it!
But Turmoil was not dumb. She wanted him to kill his partner Razor to test his loyalty to her. As was expected, T-Bone and Razor managed to defeat Turmoil and put an end to her menace by using the bombs that had been planted throughout Skyline. After her defeat, she attempted to flee in an escape pod, but was quickly captured and handed over to the custody of the enforcers, after which she was sent to the Alcatraz prison. Despite T-Bone's disloyalty and treachery toward her, she did not lose the feelings that she had developed for him.
Razor, what the heck is going on?
I don't know. Let's just get in the jet and get out of here.
Number 9. Dark SWAT Kats. Razor was testing his new dimensional radar of the Turbo Cat. We really don't want to get into the why. Anyway, the dimensional radar got struck by lightning. After this, they are transported through the dimensional axis and land up in another universe altogether. Through mistaken identity, they discovered that the SWAT Kats of this new universe were in fact the arch-enemies of Megakat City and primary allies of Dark Cat. SWAT Kats learned that the Dark SWAT Kats intended to plant a bomb in the Enforcer headquarters and blow it up. Dark Cat built the bomb and was sure that his plan would work out without any troubles. But the Prime Universe SWAT Kats were not going to let that happen. The SWAT Kats met their extremely evil and diabolic counterparts at Pumadine, where both the opposing sides had arrived to get their hands on a mega detonator, which was used to blow up the Enforcer headquarters.
Now let's get our tails out of here before Dark Cat finds out we're not who he thinks we are.
He already has.
The Dark SWAT Kats had more evolved and deadly technology. They used all their powers and ingenuity to subdue the Prime Universe SWAT Kats and set them up for the Enforcers to arrest. However, at the present, they are released by an evil Kali who mistook the Prime Universe SWAT Kats for the Dark SWAT Kats. After this blessing in disguise, they went ahead to engage their evil counterparts in a lengthy and thrilling dogfight. Or maybe a catfight. The Dark SWAT Kats seemed to be defeated even after their dramatic entrance, but foolishly exploded the bomb in their own jet, causing an explosion that erased them from existence. There are several differences between the Prime Universe SWAT Kats and the evil SWAT Kats. The Dark SWAT Kats don't share a jovial and friendly relationship with each other and often fight for petty reasons.
Watch it, you hairy elf. You almost tripped the alarm.
The Dark T-Bone is extremely clumsy as a pilot, and Dark Razor misses his mark more often than always. Unlike the Prime Universe SWAT Kats, the Dark SWAT Kats not only use more lethal and deadlier weapons, but also kill and hurt their kind for the fun of it.
This one's name is not Kid. Preferred nomenclature is Zed.
Number 10. Zed. Dr. Lighter Greenbox created a robot that assumed the name of Zed. It was initially designed as a small brain repair unit, but the Metallikats put it to their own use, to repair their severely damaged bodies. Due to their evil personalities, its programming got infected. It later became sentient and started to follow them around as their pet or a minion.
Oh, Doc! He's one of us now!
A correct extrapolation of facts.
It also assimilated with several metallic components that it found in its vicinity and used them to create weapons and armor for itself. However, the lowly ambitions of the Metallikats were too little for Zed, making it grow tired. It decided to find its own purpose for existence and sought to take control for itself. Growing weary of what the advanced robot could do, Mac tried to take control over it, but Zed assimilated him too. When the enforcers reached to stop it, Zed assimilated their tanks and other weapons. Even the ingenious and mighty SWAT Kats had to retreat after their first failed attempt. It headed to Pumadine in search of better and bigger weapons. But the SWAT Kats destroyed Zed just in time to save Megakat City from a nuclear explosion.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.
Well, pal,
Guess Callie will never know who we are.
Yeah, but she knows who to call.